Hi everyone, welcome back to Infinite Lifetime Sutra. I'm your host Angelina Amitabha. Okay, so during the last episode, we have already spoken about the intention of our Amitabha Buddha during the time when he was just a Bodhisattva. So despite being the Bodhisattva, okay, he has great wishes. He has great aspirations. Okay, so we continue first with the Sutra readings first, okay? For that portion that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so 世见自在王佛 the Buddha at that time 即为法藏而说经言，譬如大海一人斗量，经历结束尚可穷底，人有志行求道，精进不止，会当可果，何怨不得？如之思维修何方便，而能成就佛刹庄严？如所修行如智当知，清净佛果，如因自设。法藏白言：是亦弘神废我境界，唯愿如来印证便知。光言诸佛无量妙刹，若我得闻如是等法，是为修习，是满所愿。是见自在王佛智其高明，志愿深广，即为宣说210亿诸佛刹土功德严尽广大圆满之相，因其心愿悉现于之。所设法时经千亿岁。Okay, it looks like a very long section, okay, but generally the prose of it, okay, all these sutras are actually written in classical Chinese because the translators at that time, the way that they convey is by the traditional classical Chinese. So this entire thing, the literal explanation is that when our Amitabha Buddha was the Bodhisattva, he approached the Buddha. Okay, the Buddha at this time, 世间自在王佛如来. Okay, so when he approached, he requested that the Buddha please teach him about the universal truth for him to be able to create his enlightenment, to be able to achieve his enlightenment, to be able to create his Buddha world. Remember, previously I've always said every Buddha has their own Buddha world. Okay, so when he approached the Buddha to request for this, the Buddha said to him, you are a great one. You should know. Okay, you can think for yourself, because he knows that our Bodhisattva is a very wise person. So I said, you should know. You think it for yourself how you want to excel in it. How do you want to reach your enlightenment? How do you want to build your Buddha world? You can think about it yourself, right? But our Bodhisattva, he is very wise and he is very humble, and it was as if it's testing whether this Bodhisattva still has some ego left in him. But of course, the Buddha knows that the Bodhisattva doesn't have any ego left in him. Okay, so when he said such things, okay, our Bodhisattva said, oh no, Buddha, my all the achievements of all the Buddhas, they are beyond my comprehension, right? I am still not good enough. I'm still just a learning student, right? So I'm hoping that you can enlighten me, okay, show me, teach me. And then with such humility, right? So the Buddha was like, with a person with this kind of desire, okay, with this kind of steadfast, one-pointed goal. So the desire to become a Buddha, the desire to be able to help other people to achieve Buddhahood, this form of aspiration. So the Buddha feel that it's really praiseworthy, it's really great, and he knows that the vow that the Bodhisattva made okay, upon the achievement of the Buddhahood is great. So he he taught him. He spoke to him about, the number that they gave were huge. The 210亿 210 yi. Yi is like million, billion. Okay, don't know. Okay, so there are a lot of all the Buddha worlds. Okay, we are not the only ones in this entire universe. Okay, that is for sure. And scientists are actually still deliberating. Are we the only ones? Are we the only ones? It's like, so, you think that you're really that special, right? No, okay, we are not really that special. We are just one of the forms of beings in one of the many, many Buddha worlds out there. So there were so many of them, so many Buddha worlds that already existed during the time when our Amitabha Buddha was just the Bodhisattva. Okay, so the Buddha actually told him one by one, okay, what are the great things about the various Buddha worlds? What do they have? What is their characteristic on each and every one of it? Okay, so even better still, okay, it was not just by words. All right, the teaching was greater than your 3D computing machines. Okay, you can imagine it like a holographic thing. Okay, so the Buddha projected in front of our Bodhisattva the glory of the various Buddha worlds, so many of them. And how long did they take to complete the lesson? 千亿岁. Okay, 千亿岁. 千 is thousand, 亿 亿 亿 百万富翁, billion, 1,000 billion, maybe more than that. I don't know how to count in Chinese. Okay, so how long did it take? It is like 1,000 billion years. Okay, at that time the people were lifespan were really long. Okay, so our lifespan now is like 80 to 100 is actually nothing, peanuts. Okay, so for them, even when you're talking about the at the beginning of the sutra, right, 42 aeons, 42 kalpas, 42 aeons. Okay, I don't really know the calculations, but the Buddha at that time was sharing the Dharma for that long lifespan. Okay, so many years that we cannot imagine. Okay, we really cannot imagine, because by the time that we have finished suffering, okay, when we die in a normal age in our world right now, 80 years old, 100 years old, 120 years old, we consider, 120 years old very old, but to them it is like, it's just lesser than an infant. So they spend that much years for Amitabha as a bodhisattva at that time to learn the all every single one of the Buddha worlds. Okay, all the great things about the Buddha worlds, all the characteristics of the Buddha worlds, how the Buddhas at that world form their world. So it was extensive teachings, and it is like, spread it right across, open it up, okay, without any reservations. Okay, because why? Remember, in the previous episode of the talk, of our sharing, right? In the previous episode, the Bodhisattva requested from the Buddha, okay, I would like it that when I become a Buddha, my Buddha world, the reputation, goes out to all the 10 directions. Okay, and the moment the people from all 10 directions hear about my Buddha world, they want to come here. Okay, and the moment they step into my Buddha world, they immediately become bodhisattvas. Not as normal humans, okay? They immediately become bodhisattvas. All right. So this is a very grand wish that our bodhisattva has, our Amitabha has, okay? Because if you were to look at the conventionals, okay, the normal route, all right, based on the Avatamsaka Sutra, based on all the other sutras, right? It takes a long time for somebody to become a bodhisattva. And the moment the first ignorance is being broken, okay, when you dispel the first ignorance, that is the point when you start becoming a bodhisattva. Okay, it's not the point when you say, oh, I want to become a bodhisattva, I take the bodhisattva vows. It's not like that. Okay, when you take the bodhisattva vows in the real bodhisattva ways, it means that first of all, you have already eradicated the first ignorance. Okay, and from that you have to go through 5 aeons, 5 kalpas. I always confused between these two. Okay, but it's a very long time, a long time. Okay, it's like don't know how many world cycles have already gone through. So from there, after 5 of such grand cycles, then five great kalpas, only then can a bodhisattva become a Buddha. So you can imagine, when you first become the bodhisattva, you do the learning, you go for practical at the same time. Okay, theory and practical comes at the same time. So when the practical comes, it means that you have to manifest into the different types of body. Okay, it can be a human body, can be an animal body. Maybe not animal, I'm not too sure about that. But you manifest into different bodies, and then you have to go through so many sufferings, and through the so many sufferings, you have to practice all your the 8 paramitas, the 6 paramitas, especially for patience. You cannot get angry when people do bad things to you, and things like this. You cannot even hold a grudge. You cannot even think about wanting to retaliate, because everything comes from that thought moment. So when you become a bodhisattva that way, it takes a long time, right? And our bodhisattva, the aspiring Amitabha Buddha, he actually made a vow that his Buddha world, the moment people step into it, is already a high-ranking bodhisattvas. Okay, how high is the high ranking? There are 41 ignorances. Okay, 41. And by the time you reach his Buddha world, you are only left with 2 ignorance. Okay, left only 2. It's already hard enough for us to try to dispel the first one, right? But you're talking about completing 39 within a short period of time. Okay, in other Buddha worlds, you have no choice. You have to go through lifetimes after lifetime, cycle after cycle, to practice that perfection. Okay, dispelling all this ignorance, the 39, before you can reach that stage. But for the moment you step into Amitabha's Buddha world, you already went into a shortcut. Okay, this shortcut is not because of you being clever. Okay, this shortcut is by the graceful powers of Amitabha Buddha, by his wish, by his powers, that you are able to go there and to achieve immediately. Fast track. Okay, we like it very much these days. Fast track. Okay, so how was all this fast track possible? Okay, his wisdom in this is to ensure that the people that goes there will be able to fast track, and then he will nurture them to make sure that they are good enough to go and help other people to achieve enlightenment, to protect other people. Okay, those who aspire to be able to become Buddhas in their lifetimes, okay, to protect everyone. Because remember, everyone is a Buddha. Okay, for the everybody to who wants to become a Buddha, to be protected and to be guided. Okay, going through all the hardships and at the same time be protected. Okay, make sure that their needs are being taken care of. Make sure that they are well, like within a good environment for them to practice, so that they won't fall. Now, how many people, when they hear Amitabha, okay, if their will is not strong enough, they may chant Amitabha, 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 and then after that they just drop out. It's like they drop out of school. Okay, it's not surprising. You see a lot of religion, right? A lot of people at the moment of before they die, a lot of people convert to another religion, right? Even though some people, they say, I'm devout, I'm a devoted devotee for so many years of this particular religion. At the moment of death, they get afraid. Okay, they don't have enough of that faith in their own religion. Then they convert. They either publicly convert or they silently convert, right? So not everyone can reach that path. But if you're able to reach that path, you can be rest assured that the moment you approach Pure Land, okay, you are protected. Even before you reach Pure Land, the moment that the Bodhisattvas up there, okay, all of them, all the great Bodhisattvas up in the Pure Land right now, if they see that you are working hard, okay, to try to become part of them, okay, to go into Pure Land, to be with them in that higher education institution. You can actually just frame it that way, okay? They will protect you, okay? And it's also by the we look at the 48 vows of our Amitabha Buddha later on. One of the vows is actually that those who aspires will be protected, and then they will also, protected until they are able to ascend into Pure Land. Okay, how do we ascend into Pure Land? We don't die. Okay, the most important thing about the entire learning is that you see why people, even though reincarnation is a real thing, okay, even though all these things are true, why do people forget? Why are some people capable of doing evil? Okay, despite they seeing all the sufferings in the world and everything, they're still capable of doing evil. That's because they have forgotten. Okay, they probably have forgotten so much about the suffering in hell that they have gone through many lifetimes. Okay, even I would have suffered in hell. Even the Buddhas, before they become Bodhisattvas, they would have suffered in hell. Our Lord Gautama Buddha, he himself has said that he was in one of the Avishi hells. Okay, and in the hell, he was being punished together with another fellow prisoner, another sinner. Okay, they both have the same kind of sin, and they both end up in Avishi hell, but they were both suffering, right? And it was by the thought. Our Lord Gautama Buddha at that time, before he became a Buddha, he wasn't even a Bodhisattva yet. He was in hell, he was suffering. And then he saw the suffering of another fellow prisoner. Okay? And he thought, he suddenly arised in him that compassion. And he thought, oh, I wish that this person will, be able to get out from here, to be able to elevate the sufferings, to get out of the suffering. Because of his compassionate thought at that moment, he actually escaped Avishi hell. Okay? He ascended just like that. But you just think about it. The Buddha only remembered about this episode after he has become the Buddha and he's able to see all his lifetimes. What about us? Okay, the Buddha does not lie. So when he spoke about the various different kind of manifestations in the many different lifetimes, the reincarnations of many different lifetimes. He is telling the truth. Okay, and even when he was a bodhisattva, he also manifested as a peacock, if I'm not mistaken, or some other animal. Okay, in the jungle, I think it was a peacock. So there was a forest fire, and as the peacock, he actually guided the rest of the animals from the forest to safety. Okay, that was that was actually a form of reincarnation, and yet for us, we don't know because we don't have the power to see our past lives. A lot of people, they were thinking in terms of the now and right here in this very lifetime. So they don't care whether they do good or they do bad. In fact, some actually renounce that there is even an afterlife. Okay, they renounce that there is an afterlife, so they can do whatever they want. So there comes that, the modern ideology of YOLO, you only live once. Okay, YOLO. And the problem with this is that some people, if they think that they only live once and they only die once, either they do such good, okay, and then in the next lifetime they become great people. Okay, they probably go up to the heavens and they realize, oh, I came up to heaven. Oh, I'm doing good. Right, I'm so great. Okay, so they spend their karma, the good karma, enjoying in heaven. Right, and then after that, when the karma expires, then they wither. Okay, even in the heavens up there, the changes are very subtle. Okay, they don't realize it, but throughout most part of their lifetime, they are youthful, they are beautiful, they look bright, they are shining, they are glorious. Okay, but nearing the time when they are about to experience the death, okay, there is death in heaven. Okay, in the different heavenly worlds, there is death. When they are nearing that moment of death, they will realize that the flowers that they have in the garden start to wither. They start to show signs of aging, and they will hide. Okay, they hide in fear of, why is it that everyone looks so youthful and yet I'm starting to wither? I'm going to die soon. They know that their karma is coming to an end for their enjoyment of the heavenly world. So what happened was that during that time, okay, one of the stories that our Lord Gautama Buddha shared with us was the Saka, king of heavens, the Saka king. He realized his own condition, okay, where he was starting to wither, starting to expire. He went to listen to the Buddha's Dhamma talk. At the very moment, he was actually already experiencing the transition between that youthful, handsome, glorious Saka king to wither. Okay, and if he withers and dies, he'll drop to the next heavenly world if he still has it, or if let's say they are already at the lowest rank of the heavenly world, they might drop to become human once more. Okay, so he was already dropping, but he listened to the Dharma talk. And at that Dharma talk itself, he was great. He listened and he was enlightened. Okay, thanks to the Buddha's Dharma talk, he became Sotabanya. Okay, he achieved sainthood. He dispelled his first ignorance. He achieved sainthood, and immediately his karmic conditioning immediately, because he was just transitioning, he was about to die, and then he became one of the four saints, four level of sainthood. He achieved that immediately. The transition was so smooth and unseen by the human eye. He continued to become the Saka king just because of this achievement of sainthood. Okay, so he continued to become the Saka king, and he revealed that in front of our Lord Gautama Buddha. Okay, so that is how our Ananda, after the Buddha has has Parinibbana, Ananda, and the congregation of the Arhants, when they wrote the sutra down, he revealed that to us. Okay, so that's what happened. So as we drop, we forget. We can forget. We have to remember, we can forget when we go from lifetime to lifetime, because in the previous talk I've already shared the moment when a baby is in the fetus, okay, in the womb as a fetus, okay, from the zygote to the fetus. So that very moment of conception, if it feels as if it's hell, okay, when the baby is in your stomach, is not heaven, is actually hell. If the mother drinks a hot drink, it feels like fire in hell. If the mother drinks a cold drink, it feels like ice cold, frozen hell. Okay, until that suffering, until the moment of birth. Okay, that fear of coming out from one place to another. Okay, that's why babies cry. Okay, from one place to another, that conjures another fear. Okay, so when it conjures another fear, all these things, even like now, if you were to look at our modern psychology, when people experience something traumatic, something fearful, there will be memory loss. Okay, even in our normal daily life like that, right, there will be memory loss, or they will be plagued by such memories that it is deeply etched inside them, they may forget some things. So with this kind of situation, even while we were in our mother's womb, okay, do you think that we can remember? Unless you are a saint, unless you are somebody who whose memory is not fainted, is not erased. It won't be erased actually. You just kept somewhere in your CPU, okay, but it will not be brought up. You will not realize it. You cannot remember it, okay, unless you have achieved that kind of sainthood where you can, the arhants can see 500 lifetimes, if I'm not mistaken, and then the Buddha can see all the lifetimes. Okay, so seeing all these lifetimes, we know that reincarnation is there. Okay, so when reincarnation happens, we forget, and every time we are reborn, we need to pick up again. Okay, a lot of suffering, a lot of suffering, a lot of suffering, until one day we meet Amitabha Buddhas or the Sutras or whatever, and then we start practicing again. Right? You need to suffer so long. But when you go to Amitabha's Pure Land, what happens is that you don't die. Okay? You, when your body is no longer going to serve its function, okay, when it expires, Amitabha Buddha will bring the lotus flower that you have manifested in Pure Land. Okay, in Pure Land there is a huge lake. All right, inside the lake there are a lot of budding lotus. Okay, all these budding lotus are actually us. When we chant Amitabha, when we practice, the lotus start to grow. Some people, they drop the practice, and whatever budding that they have created, it just withers. Okay, and all the bodhisattvas up there, okay, in Pure Land, they look at all these flowers and they see the flower wither. They're like, oh well, you'll have to try harder again in the next see when this person's karma will be ripe enough for him to meet and to reinforce that belief, reinforce that practice. Okay, so but they see, when you plant a seed, okay, they'll protect it, they'll take care of your needs, okay, they'll make sure that you learn your lesson, but you don't get harmed enough to cause your dropout. They'll try to protect you so that you don't drop out, okay, but it will be such, they will protect you, they'll make sure that you get all the practices, enough, sufficient training the experiences that you go through. If you need that experience, they may even manifest themselves into that kind of thing so that you will learn the lesson. Okay, so among us, there may be people who are bodhisattvas, there may be people who are actually manifestations of somebody up there to show us what to do down here, to show us, to help us let go, to help us achieve what we need so that our lotus flower keeps blooming larger and larger. The more our cultivation, the larger it is. The clearer our heart in practice, the larger our lotus seed. Okay? So when our body can no longer function, doesn't serve us any more purposes in this existing lifetime, Amitabha Buddha will bring our flower, our seed from the pond that we have planted. Okay, our energy source. Remember, I said before that who we are, what we call soul, okay, is the energy force. Our energy force will go to the lotus flower, and then he will bring us up there. By the time we reach up there, okay, when the lotus bloom, we are bodhisattvas. Okay, we are bodhisattvas, and the special thing is that we look exactly like him. Okay, and how does he look like? In the past, right, you see all the sutras, they say 32相80种好 32 physical forms with 80 greatness 80种好 okay. Literal translation, the best that I can do, okay, as best as I'm able to. The 32 forms is actually based on, at that time, it was our Lord Buddha was in India, right? Our Lord Gautama Buddha was in India. So the 32 forms were actually just based on that time, during that time, okay? How the Indians perceived as the perfection of the human physical look. Okay, so but actually it is not just the 32, but our Buddha manifests himself as the 32 because we think that these 32 are the perfection. This is the guideline, this is the standard guideline. Okay, but actually he can manifest himself in any way possible. Okay, like over here, right, we refer to Amitabha Buddha looking this way. So, when our lifetime expires, Amitabha Buddha will show us this physical appearance to come and pick us up. Okay? But if you are more resonant with another form of Amitabha Buddha, okay, he looks different from this one. When your lifespan expires, that one which you think is Amitabha Buddha, he will manifest in that look to bring you to Pure Land. Okay, so all these manifestations are actually based on our norm. How do we? Which one is it that we think is Amitabha Buddha? Right? Which one it is that we can recognize as Amitabha Buddha? Right? So if you recognize this look as Amitabha Buddha, when Amitabha Buddha comes and collect you, he will manifest as this look. Then you know, Amitabha Buddha is here, come, I follow you. Okay, I go into my lotus seat, and then after that I leave. Okay, so there is no death when you follow Amitabha Buddha into his lotus seat. You go into the lotus seat, fully aware that you are stepping onto your lotus seat, fully aware that you are transported to Pure Land. If you ask me, they say Western Pure Land, so the position is in the West. Figuratively speaking, maybe. Okay, but if you were to think that you want to build a spaceship and then you head west into space, let's say your compass is so great. You just continue straight right to west. Can you find the Pure Land? Okay, you won't be able to find the Pure Land. You don't know the directions. Okay, you won't be able to find it when you sit the spaceship to go straight into the west direction. You won't. Okay, we can't even get out of this galaxy. We see all the other universes out there, but we cannot get out. Okay, we are not clever like that. Humans are not clever like that. We are restricted by our physical body, which is actually a manifestation. Okay, so Amitabha will come and pick us up. Okay, if it is not Amitabha, then don't follow. Okay, follow the real Amitabha. How to differentiate between the real and the fake Amitabha? Okay, the glow, one of it is actually the glow. Okay, if Amitabha's glow is soft and warm and you feel that it's so comfortable, go. If that feels like some disco or some eye piercing LED lights, don't go. Okay, that is not the real Amitabha. The real one, it is soft, the glow is warm, the glow is comfortable. Okay, then you follow. Okay, don't follow just because he looks like Amitabha. Okay, because even the evil ones, they can manifest to look like someone good. Okay, you just look at our world today, right? There are so many people who can do all kinds of bad things, and then they can pretend to be good. So whatever they can pretend over here, there can also be greater pretenders over there in the rooms where we have no understanding of. Okay, so you have to be wise enough to know when it is the real Amitabha Buddha. How do we know? Okay, how do we know? We don't have a guru at this time and age. Okay, all the masters that we're talking about, all the masters that we see that is actually going around holding seminars, holding talks, and after that telling you, oh, sit down and I'm going to do some blessings for you, and what kind of a meditation things out there. Okay, you're going to see this. Don't believe them, please. Okay, our Lord Gautama Buddha had already said, never use miraculous powers to to enroll students into the Buddha Dharma. Okay, he has already said that. So who is our teacher? Our teacher are the sutras. Okay, the teachings. All right, like if you are going for Pure Land Buddhism, the Infinite Lifetime Sutra is your teacher. Okay, whenever you read the Infinite Lifetime Sutra, it is as if our Lord Gautama Buddha is talking to you, sharing with you. Okay, he is telling you how to reach Pure Land. Okay, through the Infinite Lifetime Sutra. Don't go and believe saying that I can help you. You follow me, I will bring you to Pure Land. No, you need to put in the effort. You need to be the one planting your seed, your lotus seed inside that lake in Pure Land. Nobody can plant it for you. You have to do the planting yourself, right? Don't ever believe that, oh, you just give money and then after that somebody is going to plant a seed for you. It doesn't happen that way. Okay? For some, there will be probably just some form of elevation against suffering. Okay, if let's say somebody died and then going through the Buddhist rituals, and then a lot of monks and a lot of very pure hearted people, they chant for the dead and then they transfer the merits to the dead. Okay, and then when they receive that blessings, that transfer of merits, they receive that transfer of merits to become part of that. 30% belongs to them, 70% actually belongs to the person who's chanting it. Okay, So they are not capable of planting. So you are planting it for them if you're chanting to the dead, and then they, because of all these merits, they elevate. Okay, but they themselves also have to make the effort to be able to plant their seeds inside the pure land. Okay, otherwise they're still transitional. Okay, they'll still need to go through a lot of things before they actually become a bodhisattva, before they can reach the pure land. If while you're chanting they are not chanting themselves, they can't go to pure land. But if you're chanting and they are also following your chant, then they also plant their own seeds. Okay, that is how it should be. Okay, it's not like I pay you, you do, and you do the planting and I go and see. No such thing. Okay, you need to put in the effort yourself. You can't say that, oh, this one, do it for me, I'll make you my slave, I'll pay you money, okay, and then you chant for me, then I wait and sit. No such thing. Okay, everything will have to be your own effort. Everything will have to be by your own doing, your own karma, your own seed, your own plowing, your own growing. Okay, so when you actually go into the flower, Amitabha is the one to bring you to his world. You imagine the teacher coming over to fetch you. Okay, he does not send a bus to pick up the people. He doesn't do that. He comes over personally to pick you up to go to his world, because that is how much he would like to protect you, how much he want to make sure that you go to his world, protect you until you reach his destination, until you reach his Dharma world, which is Buddha world, the pure land. Okay, and then when your lotus flower blossom, you will be able to hear him give teachings. You'll be able to manifest yourself into different Buddha worlds and to listen to all the different Buddhas teaching the Dharma all at the same time, simultaneously. Okay, how do we know that? Okay, how do we know that this is possible? This is based on Amitabha's 48 wishes. Okay, he has vowed in his 48 vows. Okay, he has vowed that all those people who manifested into my pure land will be able to at the same time simultaneously have manifestations in all different Buddha lands as they wish to attain the wisdom from the different Buddhas, of the many Buddhas, of all the Buddhas. Okay, if this wish cannot be achieved, then I don't become a Buddha. That is his vow. Okay, so it is by the grace of his power, by the grace of his vow, that he is able to manifest all these things for our benefit. Okay, so you have to know, the Buddhas as teachers, they have nothing to withhold. They don't withhold anything. They have nothing to hide. Okay, they're not like our mundane teachers now. Our mundane teachers, they teach something and they don't teach other things just to keep themselves relevant in the market. Okay, they're not willing to let go. They are too afraid that they will become irrelevant. That's a very selfish thought. So our Buddhas, they are not selfish. Okay, they already achieved the highest. There's nothing higher than that. So since there's nothing higher than that, is already the universal truth. There's nothing to hide. Actually, the universal truth is as is, right? They didn't discover, they didn't have a new innovation, they didn't discover they didn't create anything new. They just saw, they realized, they discovered, oh, so this is the truth. Okay, and the Buddhas before that, they selflessly shared everything. Okay, in our case, our Amitabha Buddha, he as a Bodhisattva, he asked 自在王菩萨, 自在王如来, okay, this his Buddha at his time to teach him all these things, and unreservedly that Buddha taught every single thing, even flashing before his eyes for him to see for himself how the different Buddha worlds look like. So he gathers all this. Okay, how many minutes are we? Okay, 44 minutes. Okay, so enough for this episode today. Right, the next episode we shall continue. So we shall end today's sharing at this moment. Okay, so I hope you continue with reading the sutra. I hope you continue chanting Amitabha. Okay, so we shall meet again in the next episode. Until then, take good care and bye bye. Amitabha.